This is Sheepdog Preparedness. Are you ready? There's a sneak peek of future product review. Just got this little Zygu X6100 portable QRP HF rig, and I'll be doing a full review of it. But what we're going to do in this video is show you how to make a homemade antenna for it that you can carry out into the field, and it's a very, very inexpensive antenna build. So this is what we end up with after cutting one out. What I did was just took the pattern that I made in the vinyl machine, just printed it out or cut it out in black vinyl, stuck it onto my plastic that I wanted to use to cut these forms, and there's what one looks like after I got the cutting done with the Dremel tool. You just a cut off wheel and then a little grinder attachment to kind of smooth the edges. And what I'll do next is I'll peel the black vinyl off and just smooth everything a little bit, get all the rough edges gone with a piece of sandpaper. Okay, so here we have our shaped cutout form, just made out of some plastic. This was a plastic picnic plate that was 50 cents, I believe, at Walmart. Here's my coax I'm going to use for the feeder line. Got our 100 picofarad capacitors, our toroid core, got some wire. This came as, red and black joined together. I just pulled them apart, so I got double the length. And here's our magnet wire for doing our winding on our toroid. Okay, so we went ahead and I decided to paint this one just for the heck of it. I may or may not paint the future ones, but got it painted. Got some holes drilled. Your toroid you're going to be doing your winding on. What I did was I got holes drilled for the outside and the inside of it, so that way I can run a zip tie, two zip ties across this to hold that on. And then we're going to run coax in one of these, and we're going to run the antenna wire in the other set of these, and then put a couple extra holes on the end in case we want to add tie-off points or something like that. We're going to do the winding for the toroid using just regular magnet wire. I got this spool of magnet wire on Amazon. This is 22 gauge enamel coated. You're going to start off with a piece that's about 24 inches long, and going to twist about 6 inches of the end of it, which will leave you with 18 inches from here to the other end. We're going to do this winding, and then I'll show you what that product looks like. Okay, we got our winding done. You'll see we started out with the double strand, and you'll do 2 wraps of that, and then you'll do 6 more here, 6 more here. Total of 14 turns. This turn here does a crossover and goes to the other side to finish the windings. There is a ton of information on the internet about building these. Just 49-to-1 is the ratio. It's 49-to-1 un, unbalanced to unbalanced. So easy to build, cheap. The toroids are maybe $1 or $2. This huge spool of magnet wire that I got from Amazon was like $5, and there's enough in there to make who knows, probably 100 of these antennas. It's crazy. It's cheap stuff. Okay, here we are with basically the completed antenna. You can see our antenna wire itself, which is about all around 65 feet in length. It feeds in through these strain relief holes, connects to the windings from the toroid core at that end there. And then here's our feed line coming in, our coax, which about 3-foot long piece of coax with a BNC connector on the other end. And you can see where it feeds in. It ties into the 2 tap points there on the core. And this is a 100 picofarad capacitor. So the next step is going to be, now that the antenna itself is built, we'll test it with the vector network analyzer, make sure the SWR looks good. And I've got some heat shrink tubing coming today, some blue heat shrink, and that's going to cover this dog bone from about here all the way to here with heat shrink to kind of help protect these components. And I'll show you what that looks like after I apply that. Alrighty, we are done. There's after I performed the heat shrink, bought a roll of this stuff from Amazon, and just take a hair dryer to it, slip it on there. It's a tubular shape. Now everything's all nice and protected. Now we'll roll everything up and show you how compact the setup is. There she is, all complete, coiled up, ready to be deployed out in the field. Weighs, I would say, I don't know, 4 or 5 ounces. I could probably put it on a scale and find out, but this is going to go in my go bag, my communications go bag, get me on the air on HF.